Hello everyone, and welcome to our Tuesday and Thursday 1 p.m. yoga class at the Community Arts Center in Westmont. Today we're going to start with our opening relaxation, which means find any position that is comfortable for you. Since we're using our yoga mats on the floor, you are welcome to sit. You are welcome to lay on your back. Our opening relaxation is all about letting ourselves settle down, letting ourselves slow down, and then begin to center our focus and our attention. Too often in our day-to-day lives, everything's a rush. We're hurrying from one event, one activity to the next. And in the process, we get wound up. We get frazzled, we get frustrated, we get stressed. Yoga is our opportunity to step away from those activities, to step away from that stress, and have a few moments to let it all go, and to find and rebuild that calmness and that peacefulness within us. So during our opening relaxation, I invite you to let your eyelids gently drift closed. I invite you to let your body get comfortable. If you want to lay on your back, on your mat, let the neck and shoulder muscles relax. Let your arms rest out to the sides, palms up, so that the points of the shoulders roll back. And if it's uncomfortable to lay with legs fully extended, because perhaps it makes your lower back hurt, feel free to bend your knees and let the feet be flat to the floor. I invite you to close your eyes if you feel safe, because once our brains no longer have to process the visual images that our eyes send to the brain, that's less work for the brain to do, and it means we can have more ability to focus on what we hear and on what we feel. So behind those closed eyelids, gently notice the feel of your breath as it moves into and out of your body. If you can, I encourage you to inhale through the nose, feeling the air flowing through the sinuses, down the throat and into the ribs. And on the exhale, you can breathe out through the nose or the mouth, whatever works best for you. And without creating any other changes to your breath, just notice how that breath feels. Does it become a nice, smooth, steady flowing pattern? Breath flowing in, and then slowly and gently flowing back out. As we focus on feeling the breath moving into and out of our bodies, perhaps we can begin to notice. Does it take a little longer to pull the air in, to fill your lungs from the bottom all the way up to the very top? Does it take a little longer for those lungs to empty out, releasing the stale air, letting it all go? And repeat, breathing in. Maybe your inhale lasts 4 to 6 seconds. And as you breathe out, maybe your exhale lasts 6 to 8 seconds. Slowing the breath also sends signals to our brain to begin to slow our heart rate a bit so we don't have that pounding heart. That also sends signals to the brain to reduce our blood pressure, safer for our arteries and our veins. It also allows the muscles and the joints in our bodies to begin to release their tension and their tightness. So notice, are you starting to feel your body relaxing into the support of the floor beneath you? And as we continue with those long, slow breaths, are you noticing that with your focus on your breath, All the other thoughts, all the other worries of the day have started to fade away. And perhaps a sense of calmness and peacefulness is beginning to grow within you. We'll continue with those long, slow breaths. And today, let's start with a gentle stretch called a tension reliever stretch. So as we're laying on our backs to the mat, we can inhale to reach both arms up to the ceiling and then to the wall beyond your head. How low to the ground will your shoulders allow the backs of your hands to sink? If it's uncomfortable to let an arm sink, support it with a yoga block or a rolled up towel or a book. And then on the breath out, let's bend our ankles, what we call flexing our feet, and then walking our heels farther away from our hips. Fingers constantly reach to one direction as heels constantly push to the other. And as we continue with our long, slow breaths, notice how much effort, how much energy it takes to maintain the stretch. When you're ready, we'll do a breath in. Let's release the effort and the tension on our breath out, drifting our arms back down by our sides, letting our feet roll to the outer edges in what we call corpse pose. And can you feel your body just relaxing into the mat? We'll do a second tension reliever stretch. Again, inhaling to reach through fingers and arms. I'm spreading fingers wide. Noticing, do my shoulders allow the back of each and every finger to lay flat to the mat? Maybe I'm walking those hands a little further beyond my head this time. Does the second stretch open more than the first? Again, on a breath out, we bend the ankles to flex our feet. How's that stretch that we feel through the heels and the calves? Are you feeling a little lengthening in your lower back? Through your abdomen? Through the sides and the backs of your ribs, your waist? When you're ready, we'll do another inhale. And again, on the exhale, we'll release all of the work of the stretch to drift back into our corpse pose. And gently relax. Notice the difference between the energy and the effort of your stretch and the effortlessness of resting. Now we'll fine-tune our stretch to focus primarily on lower back and glutes, an area where we carry tension and we don't often realize it. On your breath out, let's bend that left hip and left knee, drawing the left knee up to the chest. If you'd like, you can hook your hands or your yoga strap around the back of that left thigh. And we're gently drawing left knee up towards the point, the outer edge of our left shoulder. Now, as we're pulling left leg into us, can you flex your right foot and push right heel away so that we have energy in two opposite directions? Arms and hands pulling. Calf and heel are pushing right leg away. And notice, how does the different energy affect what you feel in terms of stretching for lower back? When you're ready, we can release the hands. And let's see if we can straighten the left knee, inhaling our bent or our flexed left heel up to the ceiling. Noticing just taking the bend out of the knee really adds some stretch to the back of the calf. When you're ready, on an exhale, we'll slowly, gently drift that left leg all the way down to the ground. Just sigh and release the effort. We'll repeat to the right side, exhaling to draw right knee up to the chest. Again, yoga strap or arms behind the thigh. I don't recommend pulling down on the shin or the knee because if you have any susceptibility to a knee injury, even if it's something so small you don't know it's in there, it puts pressure on the knee joint, where if we hold behind the thigh, we're keeping the pressure and the strain off the knee joint. So while we're pulling right knee to point of right shoulder, can we push out with that flexed left heel? Again, can we picture or envision our energy going in two opposite directions? And notice, does changing which leg is forward and which leg is extended affect the stretch that you feel in your lower back? When you're ready, we'll release the hands, and again, we'll inhale that right heel, this time up to the ceiling, noticing any extra length that we are creating in hamstring or calf muscle or back of heel. And on the breath out, we'll gently release and lower back down. And we'll melt. Do the two legs feel the same? Or does one leg perhaps feel a little longer or different than the other? Next, we'll bend the knees. And as we put both feet flat to the mat, our feet are about 6 to 8 inches apart, and we are letting the small of our back rest to the mat. We're going to lace our fingers together behind the back of the head. So neck is effortless as hands support the head. Can we point both elbows up, not just towards the ceiling, but towards each other? And now let the hands lift the head up. And when the head won't go any higher, tuck your chin to your collarbones so that your elbows are pointing towards your knees. Hands and arms do all the work of supporting the head so that we can enjoy the lengthening in the back of our neck. Can we also feel some widening, some stretch across the back of the collarbones and down into that space between and behind our shoulder blades? When you're ready, we'll inhale. Hands gently lower the head back down so that elbows open wide. And we breathe. If you would like, we can add some stretch, not just to front of chest and shoulders. We can open the knees out as the soles of the feet rest together so that inner hips and inner thighs get to open and lengthen. And we call this pose reclining bound angle. Angle because of the shape the elbows and the knees make. Bound because our feet touch each other, our fingers are laced together. And of course reclining because we are laying on our back. We'll do a second stretch for the back of the neck, using inner thigh muscle strength to put our feet flat to the floor. Using pectoral and chest muscles to tuck our elbows up towards the ceiling. Head up, gently draw the head forward so that we're tucking our chin to our collarbones. Lower back on the breath out. Can we pull our knees gently up towards our elbows? So as you feel the neck lifting up off the floor for a stretch, can you feel the tailbone curling away from the floor to point up to the ceiling for some lower back stretch? Now remember, we're still breathing. So notice where you're feeling the strength in your body. And then contrast that with where you are feeling a length and stretch. On the breath out, we'll carefully return the head and the arms to the mat. And then we'll return the feet to the mat. And breathing in, again, we'll open our knees, coming into our reclining bound angle pose. Now, if you find that it's uncomfortable for inner hip and inner thigh stretch in your reclining bound angle, if you have yoga blocks or a thick book, you can put it underneath the thigh to give the leg a little bit of support. So do what's comfortable for you. As you're ready, we'll gently slide the hands out from beneath the head, bringing our arms back down by our sides. We'll extend one leg and then the other, returning to our resting pose. our corpse pose. And then from here, we can go ahead and gently roll to one side, using hands and arms to help bring us up to a sitting position. In yoga, we focus a lot on proper posture, the correct alignment of our joints. Too often our furniture encourages us to slouch where the head hangs forward, the upper back rounds, the tailbone curls under. In proper posture, we want to sit so that our tailbone points straight down, and we can stack our hip bones, our shoulders, and then bring our head back so that our ears stack above our shoulders. If you have a yoga strap, a belt from a bathrobe, or a tie, let's get that, and we'll do a forward bend for some more stretch for the back of the body. So we can loop our strap around the balls of our feet, just below the little toe. Now we're sitting with our good posture, noticing how open the chest is, how straight the spine is. A forward bend happens at the hip joints. That's the only place our body can bend, is our joints. So gently bend at the hips, seeing if you can think of reaching your belly button down to the thighs. Yet we keep our shoulders rolled back. We keep our neck straight. We're not trying to get our forehead to our knees. We are trying to keep our toes pointed to the ceiling and think of maybe pointing our tailbone towards the back edge of our mat. How's that stretch that we're feeling in the back of the legs? The glutes, the muscles in our buttocks, and in our lower back. We'll go ahead and keep our right foot in the strap as we take left foot out. We'll bend the left knee so that we are resting our left foot against the inside of our thigh. And as we sit up nice and tall, go ahead and rotate through the waist, twisting to your left, turning to that open knee. We can bring our left hand in close behind our hips, pressing against the floor or a yoga block, so that we keep our posture tall, so that we keep the crown of our head above our tailbone. And let's finish the twist by turning through the neck. Can we take our chin back to our shoulder? And remember, we hold poses, yet our breath continues to flow. When you're ready, we'll do a breath in. Let's exhale, come back to center. Now, since we have our yoga strap around just the right foot, let's notice how different our forward bend feels as we again bend at the hips. Doing our forward bend over one straight leg and one bent leg. If you need, gently pull against the strap. If you prefer, you can rest your hands to your floor, to a yoga block for a little support, or to the leg, in case you're concerned about going too far and overstretching. And notice in your own body, is it easier to do your forward bend over one straight leg or over both straight legs? We'll inhale, come on up. Let's go ahead, we'll put our left foot back in the strap. And this time, we'll take just the right foot out so that left foot stays in the strap, right knee opens out to the right side. We'll do our spinal twist, sitting tall. Big breath in, and now let's exhale and rotate to our right. Our challenge is to keep the weight equal on both buttocks, both sitting bones, as we turn through the waist, through the ribs, through the chest, through the shoulders, through the neck. And notice, is your twist to your right easier or more challenging than your twist to the left? We'll do our breath in, and we'll exhale, come back to center. Keeping our yoga strap around just the left foot. Again, we'll add our forward bend. Remember, your body bends at joints, and our joints are our knuckles, our wrists, our elbows, our shoulders, our hips, our knees, our ankles, our toes. Your spine is not a joint and cannot bend. So instead of curving the vertebra of the spine, let's keep them long and straight. Is it easier to do your forward bend over just the left leg? Or was it easier to do it over the right leg? No correct answer, just notice. Let's come on back up. One more time, we'll put both feet in the strap. Again, we'll do our forward bend. And as we sit tall and we open up the chest and the shoulders, remember, we're not going to jut our chin forward. We're going to keep our ears back above our shoulders. The only thing that's changing is the angle of the hip socket and your belly button reaching towards those thighs. Good. Nice job. Can you feel the length, not just in the back of your legs? Can you feel a little stretch coming up through the glutes, those muscles in our buttocks, and into our lower back? When you're ready, we'll inhale, come on up. We'll gently sit our yoga strap to the side. And if you want, roll the shoulders. If you want to wiggle the fingers a little bit, in fact, with feet hip width apart, let's rock the legs side to side. And then we'll wiggle the fingers up and down. And have the elbows make the hands circle around each other as the fingers wiggle. By the way, is breath still going in and out? Can we reverse the direction of our elbow circles? This is also an exercise in mindfulness, because while you're busy focusing on she wants me to do what, I'll bet you're not thinking about what to make for dinner, or if the kids are fighting, or anything that happened at work. Let's take a break. And now, if we can, we'll sit in a crossed leg position. If possible, can we point the feet so that one ankle rests in front of the other? Because if we sit in our old-fashioned crisscross position, this foot keeps this leg from opening up at the hip. Okay? So if we can point the feet and put one in front of the other, it allows the hips to open up a lot. And the purpose of open hips is so that we don't get tight through lower back. We'll do crescent moon, a seated crescent moon. If you want, you can put a yoga block under the forearm or under the hand. We want our hand in line with our hip so that we're not leaning back. We're going to go straight sideways. Let's inhale, left arm out and up. Can we lift the left ribs up to the sky as we gently bend right elbow and curve our spine, pointing to the right? Our arms look like a crescent moon, and the top half of our spine curves like the crescent moon. Now, if you would like and you have your hand to the mat, you can let the arms slide out. So instead of having straight elbow and shoulder jammed up to your ear, let your elbow bend to you. And then we're pressing the right hand into the mat to put a little more weight over onto our opposite left buttock. Noticing, does it deepen that stretch in the left side of the waist and the ribs? Are you breathing? Please don't hold your breath. And let's inhale, come on back up with that left arm. Just sigh, relax the arm down. And as we relax for a moment, notice, does the left half of your body still feel a little longer than the right? Now with legs bent, we're going to add a forward bend at the hips to stretch the hip sockets. You can rest your hands into your knees or your thighs, or you can bring a yoga block in front of you. And as we bend at the hips, we can lean into the support of the block. We can lean into the support of the legs. Think again of your navel, this time reaching down towards your ankles. And as our weight rolls onto the backs of the thighs, can we gently start pointing our tailbone to the wall behind us, creating a little more length in lower back? So our tall posture, our bend at the hips, leaning into whatever we are using for support, keeping the shoulders rolled back so that we can keep our ears back above our shoulders. When you're ready, inhale, come on back up. Now as you're sitting, notice which leg is either on top or in front, and we will reverse the crossing of the legs. If you need to put a little support under a knee, if it's uncomfortable for the hip and you have a block or a rolled up towel, you're welcome to do that. If you find that you need a little cushioning and you want to roll your mat up or your towel, please be welcome to do that. Okay? So from here, now we will go ahead and do our crescent moon. Hand can be to the floor or to our yoga block. Let's inhale, right arm up, right ribs lift up. We're squeezing bottom left rib towards our hip crest. We're leaning into the support of that left arm, letting the elbow bend not out to the side or back, rather into you, so that the shoulder relaxes, so that left ear can sink to the shoulder. And we curve our arms and our body like that crescent moon. Now let's push a little bit with left hand to put a little more weight over onto our right buttock. And notice, how does that change what we are feeling in that right side of the waist, in those right ribs? Does your body stretch better to one side than the other? When you're ready, inhale, come on back up. And as we exhale, the arms down. Notice, do the two sides feel the same or different? If you'd like, roll the shoulders a little bit to get rid of any tension, any stress. And since we've reversed the crossing of the legs again, we'll do our seated forward bend. Remembering the change happens only at the hips. So we can lean into the legs. We can lean into our yoga block. We can lean to the floor. A nice straight spine, open chest, long neck. Think of your belly button reaching down as if it wants to kiss those ankles. And remember, you do what is safe for your body. And it's very normal to find that one hip may be a lot more limber than the other. To find that one side of your body may be stronger than the other. That one side may stretch better than the other. Very, very normal. Let's inhale, come on up. On the breath out, we'll stretch out those legs. Can we gently bounce the knees up and down? And then we'll just shake the hands a bit. All right. From here, can we come over to hands and knees? We'll do a little more work for spine and neck, and a little strength for our abdominal muscles. Okay. In yoga, hands and knees position is called a table pose. So we have our wrists under our shoulders. We have our knees under our hips, a nice neutral spine. We're not letting our belly droop or letting our head hang. Everything is nice and long and straight. We'll do kneeling plank. So how does it feel to reach your left arm forward, if possible, shoulder high, while we lay top of left foot to the floor and left toes point back? Now, can we raise the opposite right heel and flex that right foot so that our toes point down to the ground? And now push your belly button up towards your backbone to help support the small of your back. And in our kneeling plank, we have length, we have strength, we have balance. Are you still breathing slowly and deeply? If you're not, please start. And on the exhale, we'll come back to hands and knees. If it feels good to you, let your hips sit back to your heels. And then we can rest our forehead to the mat. Child's pose. So child's pose is a resting pose. And if you find it's uncomfortable on your knees to rest your hips to your heels, put a yoga block on your heels or on your calves so that you don't bend the knees quite so much. When you're ready, let's come back up to our table pose, our hands and knees. And let's see how our kneeling plank works as we reverse sides. So this time we are inhaling right arm forward and exhaling to push opposite left heel back. Since your right fingers point forward, can you make the bottom right toes point back? Since your bottom left wrist is bent, can you have your back left heel bent? So kneeling plank pose. And again, think of using your abdominals, your belly button pushing up towards your backbone to help support the small of your back. We can notice, is our balance better to this side? Or is it perhaps not quite as good? No judgment about which is better, just an awareness. Yoga is about learning about your body. And come on back down. One more time, we can sit back to rest in our child's pose. If it's uncomfortable to lay on top of the thighs, be welcome to open your knees out to the edges of your mat, letting your torso lay between the thighs. And then again, we can rest our forehead to the mat, and we can gently extend the arms out beyond the head, creating lots of open space between the ribs to breathe deeply. When you're ready, we can dig, we can pull with our fingers to help us come back up to hands and knees. And let's go ahead. We'll curl our toes under so that we can help bring ourselves gently to a standing position. Okay? So come on up, however is safe for you. And we're going to get yoga blocks so that we can do a lunge to stretch front, back of body, and toes. Okay? So in our lunge, we're going to start with just a gentle forward bend. Again, bending at the hips. Knees can bend. Bring your yoga blocks outside of your ankles, noticing that my wrists and my ankles are in a straight line. I'm going to step that left foot back as many steps as it takes until my right knee is bent. My right knee is directly above my ankle. My hands are on my yoga blocks to help keep my chest up, and the left leg has extended way back behind you in runner's lunge. Now notice left foot is on the toes, right foot is flat. I'm gently pushing back with that left heel, not just for the stretch of the left calf, but also for the left quadriceps, the top of the thigh, and the groin, those hip flexor muscles where our left leg meets the body. Now, instead of rounding the back and letting the head hang down, since we're using our blocks to make our arms longer, can we lift our chest up, reaching heart center forward, rolling shoulders back? So again, energy in two opposite directions. Heart center reaching energy forward, shoulders rolling back, left heel pushing back. When you're ready, on the breath out, we'll gently walk that left foot up to meet the right, as many steps as you need, or one big one. And let's sweep the arms out, all the way up to the ceiling. Tailbone down, crown of the head up. We call this extended mountain. Now we don't need to look up, and we don't need to hunch our shoulders up. We simply relax those shoulders. Okay? Let's go ahead and bend our right knee. We'll do a standing crescent moon. So if you'd like, round the arms, and we're going to squeeze right rib to the right hip crest. Remember when we did crescent moon sitting and you had one hand to the floor? If you have any lower back issues, bring that right hand to right hip or thigh to help support you. And how different does your crescent moon feel as you are standing? Whether you're holding the hip for support or having arm up is your choice. Let's inhale, come on back up. On the breath out, we're going to bend at the hips, arms stay back, and they come back down to our blocks. Bend the knees as much as you need to have your hands to the blocks, aside of your ankles. This time, walk the right foot back. Again, it can be one great big huge step or several small. The beauty of yoga is you do what works for your body today. And again, chest is up, shoulders roll back, gaze is forward. And as our heart center reaches forward, we can gently push that right heel back. We have a lot of stretch through the arch of our foot, through the back of our toes. So if you have any trouble with plantar fasciitis, this is a great stretch to help alleviate or relieve or even hopefully avoid the discomfort of plantar fasciitis. Little core strength, those abdominal and right thigh muscles are going to work as we do a breath in. And now we exhale to step back up to our forward bend. One big step or several small. Let's inhale the arms out and up, returning to our extended mountain. Instead of hunching shoulders, let them relax. And now soften the left knee so that left hip gets to sink down. And we are going to curve our ribs and our spine to our left, our new crescent moon. We're making sure shoulders are back above the hips, ears back above the shoulder. Again, if you prefer, hand to hip or thigh to support you. If you want more challenge and a deeper side body stretch, intentionally bring that hand to hip or thigh, and now let the weight of your torso be supported completely by that lower arm, noticing, does your spine curve a little more? Does the space between the ribs open up a little more? Do those waist muscles lengthen a bit more? Again, inhale all the way back up. And let's bring our hands down. Whew, and take a moment to catch our breath. Okay, so we did some forward bends to lengthen back of body. Let's go ahead and do some strength for the legs now. I'm going to set my blocks aside. We'll stand sideways on our yoga mat, walking our feet wide to do warrior two. Okay. When we talk about walking our feet wide, you can either think of trying to put a 36-inch yardstick between the big toes, or you can walk your feet out so wide that when you turn your head and look over your shoulder, you can see your ankles without having to crane the body. Okay? So now that we have our nice wide stance, let's turn our left foot to the left, and then we'll turn our right toes slightly to the left as well. That's for the safety of our knees. We're going to bend our left knee, putting it directly over the ankle. You don't want it beyond the ankle and the big toe, just above. So if you feel that this is more comfortable, inchworm that foot a little further out. And as we keep our shoulders back above our hips, we can extend through the arms. Okay? Do we have our ears back above our shoulders? Now let's make sure our lower back is long and straight by engaging the abdominals, like you're tucking your belly button to your backbone. And then gently engaging the glutes, squeezing those buttocks together. And that helps support our lower back so that we're not accidentally hyperextending. Now, as we keep the legs in this nice, strong foundation, let's add some stretch to the upper torso. We're going to inhale left arm, our heart center, our hairline up to the sky. Roll that right shoulder back. You can let right hand rest to the right leg for a little support and balance. Can you roll the left shoulder back as well? Does it feel weird to reach left arm up, yet roll the shoulder back so that we can create lots of width across the chest? How's the top of that left thigh? Is it talking to you yet? We'll do a breath in. Let's exhale, bring it back to our warrior two. We'll straighten the legs. We can relax the arms. We'll turn both feet forward so that they are parallel. And now let's go ahead and reverse our direction. So we're going to pivot the feet. So right toes turn to the right. Left toes turn halfway to the right, again for the safety of the knees. And as we bend the right knee and bring it over the ankle, we're pressing back leg into the mat. We're stacking shoulders above the hips, rolling shoulders back, making sure our tailbone points down. Now, one thing I didn't cue the other time is, can we keep the crown of the head directly above the heart and the tailbone so that we're not leaning out over that right leg? We're centered above crown of the head, heart center, navel, tailbone. Okay? We're checking to make sure right knee's over the ankle. Now, with your hands open shoulder wide, on an inhale, simply turn the hands palms up. And notice, how does rotating those arms at the shoulders change what the arm, the shoulder, and the chest muscles feel? When you're ready, we'll do our peaceful warrior. So again, we're inhaling heart center, hairline, right hand up to the sky. We're lifting our gaze, perhaps looking up either at the fingers or perhaps past the fingers. And as right shoulder rolls back and down, as the left shoulder rolls back and down, we widen across the chest. We have an upper back bend here. We may also feel a little bit of a lower back bend. How strong does that left glute feel, those muscles in your buttock? Are they working hard? How does the top of your right thigh, those quadriceps feel? Are they working hard? So we have stretch and strength and balance in our pose. We'll do a breath in. Let's exhale, bring it back to our warrior two. Good job. We'll inhale to straighten the knees. We can relax the arms. We'll turn our feet forward. And just take a moment to notice. Do the thighs feel the same, or does one side feel like it worked harder than the other? From here, we'll walk our feet together. And let's do a standing balance pose to create a little stretch in those thighs, those quadriceps. We'll do dancer pose, okay? Depending on your balance, you may feel safer going to where you can hold on to a chair, a door frame, a wall, okay? Dancer pose is going to have us standing on one foot. That arm is going to reach up. So if we stand to your right foot, your right arm reaches, the left knee bends, the left shoulder rolls back, and depending on your body, left hand can hold pants leg or foot. If you have longer legs than arms, you can use your yoga strap, your necktie, the belt from your bathrobe to loop it around the foot. And then as we bend the knee, instead of trying to hunch the shoulder and pull the elbow up, do a little wrist circle, wrapping the strap around your hand to take up some slack. And then do that as many times as you need so that our left knee is pointing down to our right heel. Again, we've engaged or squeezed those abdominal and glute muscles so that our tailbone's pointing down to the right heel. We want our left knee back aside of the right. We're all breathing and smiling because we just love this pose. And when you're ready, exhale, come on back out. And as we take our strap off the front, if you want, roll through the shoulders. Roll through the toes. Notice, did right calf feel a little stronger, a little more solid than left? Takes a lot of calf muscle strength to stand on one foot. Let's do the other side. So again, if you want, you're standing on left foot. Left hand can hold whatever you're using for support. If you want to use your yoga strap around the foot, be welcome to do so. And then as we bend that right knee, we're trying to bring right foot up behind us. Again, if you're using the strap, you can wrap the strap around your hand. Again, let's pull the belly button in. Let's point the tailbone down to the heel. Those of you that aren't using a strap and you're holding your foot, just be careful that we're not trying to squeeze our heel to our buttock. We don't want to put undue pressure on the knee. Again, how about another breath in? And we'll release and come on down. And as we take a moment in mountain pose, notice any differences between left and right calves. We worked each one individually. Now collectively, how do they feel? Come on back to your mat if you stepped away from it to use a wall or a chair. Can we come to sit down on the mat without using our hands to the floor? A couple different ways to do that. Maybe you want to step one leg behind you and bring that foot down. Maybe the other leg. Maybe we can sit back and down and then roll all the legs out. That's a good exercise to practice. It's an indicator of our ability to live independently as we get older. Okay? From here, we are going to do one more spinal twist for some outer hip stretch. So if we sit with our legs extended in front of us, we'll bend the right ankle, right foot is flexed. We'll place our left foot either to the inside or, if possible, to the outside of that right knee. We're going to inhale, sit up nice and tall. Your right arm is going to hug that left leg as you exhale and you turn left. We sit up as tall as we can. We roll left shoulder back, putting the left hand to the floor behind your hip or to a yoga block to help you keep spine tall. Now let that right arm really hug that left leg. How close to your navel? How close to your ribs can you bring that left inner thigh? And in the process, as you're sitting tall, please don't lean back. You want that left hand in against your hip so that as you are sitting up as tall as possible and thigh and abdomen come together, you're feeling some stretch deep in the outside of that left buttock. Are you able to turn your head to look back over your left shoulder? If you feel you'd like a little more stretch in the right side of the neck, can you roll your eyes to look down behind that left shoulder? Noticing that as we roll our eyes, do we stretch a little more? How about a breath in? We'll exhale, come back to center. Whew, we can release the arms and the legs. If you want, you can gently bounce the knees if there's any tension or tightness. And let's see if we can reverse. So this time, left foot flexes, right knee bends, right foot to the inside or the outside of the left knee based on what your legs do. Again, inhale, sit tall. Exhale, turning to your right. Your left arm hugs that right leg. Your right hand is to the floor behind you, and it's in close to the body. You don't want to lean back because that reduces the benefit of the hip stretch. Rather, by keeping right hand in close and really sitting body up, it gives us more room to turn, and it really deepens that glute stretch. This is also a sciatic stretch. So if you struggle with sciatica, whatever side of your body is feeling the discomfort from the sciatica, that's the knee that you want bent. And that is the direction you want to turn. And we're breathing. How about one more breath in? On the exhale, roll those eyes, looking behind the right shoulder. Our last little bit of stretch. Again, we inhale. This time on the breath out, we'll come back to center and uncross the legs. If you'd like, we'll do our closing relaxation. So if you want to sit or if you want to lay back on your mat. Some people feel better with knees bent. Before closing relaxation, some people like to gently do knee to chest pose and just wiggle their feet, move their ankles, since we did a lot of work with the feet. So do what helps you get comfortable. And then whenever you're ready, we can release the arms, palms up. If you'd like, release the legs. Can you extend through the knees, rolling to the outer edges of your heels? We don't need to keep our hands and arms in close to our bodies. Go ahead and feel free to slide those hands anywhere from 6 to 18 inches away from the sides of your body. And notice how that allows the points of your shoulders to gently sink back a little closer to the mat, helping us get rid of any last tension in neck, shoulders, and upper back. As you relax in whatever is your comfortable position, again, if you feel safe, I do encourage you to close your eyes, shutting out the distractions of the world outside of you in order to more fully focus on what you feel inside of you. This is your yoga practice to help you feel better. So let your focus be on you, just like we did at the beginning, noticing our breath, slowing that breath to see if we can do an inhale that lasts 4 to 6 seconds long, seeing if we can do an exhale that lasts 6 to 8 seconds long. As much as possible, breath in is through the nose. And then the exhale or the breath out can be through the nose or the mouth. And as we again become comfortable with those longer, slower breaths, can you see if your body begins to relax? Can you feel the muscles in the joints gradually breathing away any last tension or any last effort that they may be holding on to? Can you feel your body just going, and completely settling back into the support of the floor? As we enjoy those long, slow breaths, as we enjoy the restfulness of the body, this is also a time for us to recharge. We know our devices can't run forever without getting more energy. We put gas in the gas tanks of our car. We recharge our phones and our electronics. Our bodies need time to recharge as well. And our closing relaxation is a brief opportunity for our body to rest and recharge after the work that we did as part of our yoga practice. So please don't feel that your closing relaxation is a waste of time. You don't feel bad about plugging your phone in to charge it up. You don't feel bad about needing to refill the gas tank on the car. It just is what needs to be done. So give your body, your mind, your emotions a little time to recharge as well. Breathing in. Feel the calmness and the peacefulness growing within you. And breathing out. Allow anything that makes you uncomfortable, mentally, emotionally, or physically, begin to just drain away until ultimately you feel as if you're soft and relaxed. Maybe you feel as peaceful as if you were floating on your mat, like you'd be floating on a raft in a swimming pool or at the beach. Calm, quiet mind. Slow, smooth breath. Relaxed body. Enjoying how good you feel. As we continue with these slow, steady breaths, remember the techniques that you used as part of your closing relaxation, because you can use them again and again at any time you want or need to help you recreate the feelings of calmness and peacefulness that you are enjoying now. So as we're ready, let's start to bring a little movement gently back. We can start to wiggle our fingers. Maybe we can begin to wiggle our toes. And we can let those movements spread out into hands and feet, into wrists and ankles. Maybe we can rock our arms gently back and forth. And when you get to the point where you feel that you're ready, you can open your eyes. You can carefully roll to one side, using hands and arms to help push you back up to a sitting position. And if you enjoyed this session, please look for more on the Community Arts Center's YouTube channel. And please be welcome to join us live and in person. We have our yoga classes at the Community Arts Centers every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. You can do either or both days. And we are here Tuesday evenings at 6. So everybody, thank you so much for being here. Thanks to our folks who are live and in person. Thank you. Namaste.